All right, howdy boyos, and welcome back to some more Steel Division Normandy 44. I have to be honest, I kind of put this off for a while. I just had other stuff to do, but today we're going to take a look at the newly, in between brackets, added 21st Panzer, and in a video soon to come, I'll take a look at the 2nd Armored for the French deck. So today, we're taking a look at the 21st Panzer, and I think the biggest thing in this deck has to be the King Tiger. And actually with the recent patch that came out, I think yesterday, a lot of the units have been changed a little bit. The French, for example, have definitely been changed, where they now only get 100 points and not 105 in the first phase of the game. And the Jumbo armor has been reduced. There's basically just been some kind of buffs and definitely nerfs for most of the allied decks that I guess make the game a little bit more balanced. So Jumbo is now down to, I think, just 20 frontal armor. Let's take a quick look at that. Second armored, or third armored, my apologies. Third armored, Jumbo, what's your armor? 20. So I think that was at 22 first. At 20, it's still a lot, but I think it kind of makes up for the fact that the King Tiger only has 19, because I didn't really agree with the 19 on the King Tiger with the Porous turret and then giving the Jumbo 22. Thought that was a bit weird. Anyway, we're gonna jump into the 21st Panzer, and of course starting off with the Recon. So this is my deck I now use. Obviously, you know, I guess feel free to copy it or not. I'm not saying it's amazing, but this is the deck I use. But I'll go over all the units. Let me actually make a new one. I guess it actually is easier because then I can see what's in there. Review. Can't spell. Still can't spell. Why is it doing that? Let's just do. Okay, well, let's just take that then. Sure. 21st Panzer. So obviously Recon. A thing that I've definitely noticed is I guess this is kind of like a war game Red Dragon thing too, where no, they give you the ability or the choice between a 4-man team in a unarmored or unarmed vehicle, or a 2-man team in a armed vehicle, or for more points, a 4-man team in a bigger armed vehicle. In this case, obviously, it has a machine gun. This only has a smaller machine gun, but this can also carry other troops. So the thing is with the Recon and for Germany, or in general, the infantry Recon, I just never use their guns anymore. So, I mean, I don't really. I guess a 4-man Recon team is better at defending itself, and these guys actually get machine guns, which is good. But for Recon, I usually just kind of stick with the cheapest ones, unless there's a good, you know, armored vehicle, for example, the 222 or like an M or an M20 armored car for the gun. But Recon units, I just kind of like to stick to the simple, you know, 2-man units, because I just put them on hold fire, try to push them up, and honestly, if a 4-man Recon team gets spotted, unless they're facing an other enemy Recon team, they're just gonna get slaughtered. Even though they're 4 guys with a machine gun and 1 star, they're still gonna get slaughtered unless they really get the jump on a team. But even then, I highly doubt that. So I personally like to take the 2-man team. I guess in this situation, the 2-man team is more expensive, but you get an armored car, armored and armed car with it, versus the Kubelwagen for 5 points less. But you know, that's your choice. So you got 3 Kubelwagen cards, 3 221 cards, and 3 half-track cards with the 4-man infantry squad. And then in phase A, you can also pick the 222, which I really like. The 222 is really damn strong, and getting a 222 at 2 stars in phase A with a Recon squad inside of it, you just drop the Recon off, you sent this thing forward with the 2 stars. It's actually a very, very deadly opponent, and something you definitely don't want flanking your Greyhounds or your light half-tracks. We'll also get the Schwere Panzer, no, Panzer Spät, no, what was it again? Schwere, it wasn't Schwere Panzerwagen, it was Schwere Panzer Spähwagen, I believe, like heavy armored Recon car. This is a 231 with 1 star, and then in phase B you can get 2 of them in 1 card. And then you can also get the short barreled 75 on the SPW 233. In phase B, you can get 2 of them in the card. And in phase C, this is kind of like a thing that you've seen in other German decks as well. You just get another availability, but I don't really know if in phase C, a 20 mil armored car is really that worth. Maybe 2 in phase B is worth, but I don't know, maybe for a push, or if you really want to have a Recon with a 20 mil on it, I don't really necessarily see the point in that. Moving on to the infantry, we have Panzergrenadierführer command infantry, the standard command infantry with smoke. They also come for 10 more points in a French half-track, which is absolutely fugly. I really don't like these I really don't like these stupid like captured French half-tracks. I think they're absolutely ugly. It's actually a Befehl half-track. It has the antennas on it, whereas this one doesn't have that. But it's not a command unit, so it just looks different, and I guess that's the entire bonus it gets, because neither this is a actual, you know, I guess it comes with a star, whereas this one doesn't, because it already also comes in a unit with a star. But other than that, there's literally no difference. But obviously, if you want a machine gun to support your infantry, there's your 304, which is ugly. I'll say that again. But it does come with the MG42, which is actually pretty decent. And then in Phase A, you can also get 3 cards of triple Panzergrens. They come in the same stupid, ugly-looking half-track. And yes, they do get the Panzerfaust. In Phase B, you get Pionierführers, which have the Geballte Ladung frag grenades. Haven't really used those myself. Haven't really found myself in an actual city fight where I have to use those grenades, though they are super deadly at 22 HE. In Phase B, you can also get Panzergrens for 10 points cheaper than in Phase A, and for 2 more per card, because you lose the half-track, which costs 10 points and has a gun, and you basically just gain a quicker, more mobile Panzergren unit, but you lose those 10 points on the machine gun half-track. Also in Phase B, you can get Pioneers, which obviously don't have the Panzerfaust. They also lose an MG, but they do, and this is actually an MG42. Yeah, they only have an MG34, which means less RPM, but you do get access to the Geballte Ladung grenades like the Pionierführers. And in Phase B, you also get Student Pioneers, which come in the 304 as well as the Pioneers. You know, these guys are a 6-man flamethrower team. I've heard great things about these teams. I've heard bad things, but I do know that these guys are definitely a lot more worth taking over the 2-man flamethrower teams that you find in the support tab, because they're a lot less vulnerable. You know, they can lose 4 guys and still be fighting, whereas a flamethrower team would lose 4 men. They have literally died twice, which is impossible. So they're a little bit better at city clearing, city fighting, because they have the more survivability. More Panzergrens in Phase B. This time you can, you know, it's basically the ones that's in same A. You just get more per card, and you get them in a 304. And then last but not least, the Schreila MG42 on a tripod, Phase B. They come in a 304, which I guess is kind of useful to provide some fire support as a vehicle. But the fact is that the MG42 is really damn good. Moving on to the tanks, which is probably where obviously this division or this deck has to get their most, you know, worth as a deck in the game or as a battle group with the King carries. But I'll get to those. So first, we have some captured French tanks, namely the Samoa S35. You know, you can get 3 command versions of these, or you can get 9 in 3 cards, regular versions. Pardon me. Now, the command versions obviously come with a star. There is literally no difference. I'm just going over this right now. There's the same armor, same range, same ammo, same fire rate, same armor piercing, same HE. The only difference is you get it with a star, but you lose 2 availability per card. So I personally think went with one of these and one of these. But, you know, if you want to take 2 of these instead of one of those, it's fine. But obviously, you will lose out on 2 Panzer 30 or 2 Panzer 35s. Then we have the Beutte Sherman, which, to my surprise, and you can see that here. Oh, that's not that one. Here, which, to my surprise, has 2 more frontal armor than the Panzer IV. It does cost 10 points less, but that is made up for in the AP department, where the Panzer IV has 14, and the Sherman only has 11. It also has less ammo. For AP, it's more of an inter-support tank. It has more HE damage. It has a lot more HE shells, almost double. It also has obviously the 50 cal, which is awesome for suppression. But I wasn't really too sure why the Sherman was so expensive until I noticed it actually has more frontal armor than the Panzer IV-H, and they also have the same side armor, which is weird considering this thing obviously has side skirts. Anyway, we weren't there. The Beutte Sherman is so more of an infantry support tank with the 50 cal and the better HE with way more HE shells. This has been a favorite of mine in this deck. The Panzer IV G, 2 stars, you get 2 of them for 130 points, so same points as the Sherman. Let's take a look at the stats. The side armor is worse, the frontal armor is way worse, but you do get a tank with 2 stars with 14 AP, which is, you know, more than the Sherman. You don't have that awesome 50 cal, but you do have the awesome, you know, 14 AP gun with the 2 stars, which is the 0 stars on the Sherman. And if you keep a command tank near this Panzer IV, it actually turns into a 3-star tank, which is pretty supreme. Then we have the Befehl Panzer. Obviously, it's just a Panzer IV, but it's got a star on it. So it is one single, or you can get one card of 5 Panzer IVs. I'm not really too sure if it's worth taking 5 Panzer IVs or 1 Panzer IV command tank. You can also get 3 Panzer IVs, the same as the 5 card one, but this one comes with a star. Now, personally, I'm someone who likes having units with stars and then lesser of them over having, like, I would rather put 2 cards of this in than having 2 cards of this, because I know A, I'll never have enough points to do that, B, it'll be too much micro, and also the stars really make a difference in this, whether this becomes, you know, a 1-star Panzer IV or it becomes a 2-star Panzer IV is a really big difference. So there's no difference between these two other than the fact it has a star and the other one doesn't. And then in phase C, you get the beasts of this deck, the Königstiger with the Porsche turret, which does look really good. The 19 frontal armor is insane. I have seen 17 pounders, 76 millimeters bounce after bounce after bounce after bounce on this thing. Obviously, you have to get really close to one of those AT guns for them to actually penetrate you. And you also have the, I think this is the KWK version. You have the KWK 40. Wait, you don't have the KWK 43 in this thing? Isn't this thing using the PaK 43 gun? Maybe I am confused. I'm pretty sure that this gun, the Tiger, King Tiger, used the KWK like the Nashorn and the Yak Panther used the same gun as the PaK 43, but obviously it's an AT gun variant versus a tank variant. Basically, it's the same AP power as a PaK 43, but with the protection of a King Tiger. So you got this killing machine. It's 350 points, which if you start off with 0 points in phase C, you need to save for 3 whole minutes to get your score, to get your points, and then you only have 25 points left. You're gonna have to spend 350 out of those 375 points just to get your money's worth out of waiting. And even then, obviously, it's still a unit. It could easily get killed if, you know, whether it's a Sherman or an AT gun or a stupid AT team, these things obviously can be killed. They're not unkillable. I've seen them killed by 6-pounders on the dev stream where Vulcan and I and Stealth and Razman played versus the devs. It is definitely killable and not something you want to be fucking around with, because that's 3 minutes of your income gone. You get 2 of those in phase C on the 1-star card or a single one for 2 stars. It really depends on how you want to play our game. I have not been able to see this happen. 9 minutes of pure waiting for these points to accumulate into you buying just 3 tanks doesn't seem worth it. I've seen people use either the single one or the other one, but not both. Both would be ridiculous. I think this is also a lot of time. I really like using this one. I keep a command vehicle close to it, and it just goes. It doesn't get killed. Anyway, moving on. The support tab, we have the SPW-223 with a machine gun acting as a support vehicle, as a command vehicle. Doesn't come with a star, but you know, it's that support bonus. Then we have my favorite for Germany's phase A, the 250-9. These things are phase A just decimators. The only downside is their super low ammo count. I have seen these guys go head-to-head with half-tracks at max range, where the half-tracks and this thing would both survive. this thing will run out of ammo, and then it's kind of screwed. It happens. It doesn't have that much ammo. In Phase A, you also get 2 Opal Blitz times 3. Don't know you'd ever need to get 3 of those cards, but sure. And you also get 2 Panzer IV C infantry support tanks with a short 75 with 9 HE. Then the flamethrowers, which I don't even want to talk about, for 40 points. Okay, they do get a Kubel machine gun. Granted, let's take a look at how much these guys cost. Also 40 points. You get a machine gun half-track. You get a 6-man team, including 2 MP40s, 3 Kar98s. How is that? How does that work? How? You get 5 of these, and you get 2 of these. They're also in Phase B. Yes, the Kubel machine gun is good, I guess, but I don't get it. I don't see a difference here. They're the same speed. They have the same range, same rate of fire, same HE. That seems to me like that is a bit weird. Obviously, I honestly don't know why the Kubel would be. Why would the Kubel be 15 points and this half-track be less points than the Kubel? That's obviously not 100% correct. The Kubel should be 5 points or 10 at the very most. Anyway, I'm not here to discuss the balancing, but that's pretty ridiculous. That shouldn't be 15 points more than a half-track. Then we have the Phase B. Support vehicle comes with a star. It's basically the same as you saw here in the Recon. It just comes with the ability, you know, to be a commander. You also get 4 Opal Blitzes per card, which I really like taking one of these because that's more than enough supply. And also, one of my favorites of this deck is the Brumbear. Either 2 in Phase B or 3 cards of 3 in Phase C. These things are quite the beast with 14 frontal armor, 1,000 meter range, and 25 HE. I have used these guys to just dislodge infantry out of tree lines, and it's so much fun. Or just drive up into a 6-pounder or 57mm gun range, let it fire at you, you don't give a fuck, and just obliterate them into oblivion. Or you use it to just level a town and not think about it anymore. Anti-tank, they have this super cute UA630 French stolen vehicle with a 37mm German pack on it. I don't know. 2 armor, 5 AP. Maybe they're useful in Phase A. I haven't had these in my deck yet. I don't know why anyone would want that. Then we also have 3 pack 38s, but we can get 15 of them. You can't even put all these in your deck. I don't even know why there's so many of these. If you can only put 4 in, why would you need a 5th one? Anyway, if you're looking for a lot of packs, then here's your thing. The only thing is actually that this pack comes with a Kubel without a gun, and this comes with a machine gun half-track. But other than that, you're never going to need that many pack 38s. You can also get for 75 points a Panzerschreck team. However, the cool thing about this is that you both get a Panzerschreck team and a pack U304, which I actually just noticed isn't that bad for 75 points, because it means you both get a very mobile, quick, low AP, but still, and also 1 HE, actually, I just noticed that. A very low AP, but still mobile pack gun, and a Panzerschreck team. So that's actually pretty worth. This one, though, have not seen it do much in action. It did get buffed, or the packs got buffed. I don't actually think the packs got buffed. Did they? Oh no, Pack 40s did get buffed to 1200 meters. That includes this gun. This gun now has 1200 meters, and God, is it weird looking. I've not seen it being effective myself, but it does have some promising. It's just a Pack 40 on wheels, which I like these mobile AT guns. You know, they pop out of cover, take a shot or 2, and then get the fuck out. You know, it's very easily killed, open topped, but it does look rather silly and awesome at the same time. Then we have a single Pack 43 in Phase A, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it kills Churchills, but in Phase A, bringing up something expensive that's stationary and open like this, it's going to get either a mortared, bombed, or strafing run. It's only a... I'm trying to see this right now. Can I see this? It's only an 8 strength unit. It takes a couple strafing runs or a good rocket strike or a bombing run. This is retreating, or it takes a couple of mortar hits and this thing is dead, and it's 125 points gone, which is basically, you know, literally 150% of your phase A starting monies, or starting like income in phase A, which is a lot. I think that's a lot of money, putting 125 points into phase A for an AT gun. But if you're facing the Brits, then definitely bring one up for the Churchill spam in phase A, or as far as they can spam Churchills anyway. Then in phase B, we get some regular Panzerschrecks in the Kubels, which are only 30 points, and we get some 251-1s with the machine guns, which allows you to put your infantry somewhere and then have the fire support of the machine guns. We also get some Marder 1s in phase B with the, like I said, 1200 meter range, which I'm actually really, really happy about. They upped the Pak-40 to that range because it was kind of under range and it felt really stupid. We also here have the regular Pak-40 in phase B, 2 per card with a SDK of Z10, and 2 per card for 20 points more, which at that point, I honestly think it's better to take a Pak-43 over a Pak-40. Because also you get more strength and way more AP power, holy shit. So you get the Pak-43. And then we get more Marder 1s in phase C. They're the same availability per card, but you get a star on them and they're the same points. And then you also get 4 Pak-40s in phase C to, strengthen your lines. And the Pak-40 is now actually very useful. Moving on to anti-air, we get some Flak 38 20 mils in phase A with Kubels, and we get some more mobile flaks on the ugly fugly U304s. Moving on to phase B, we get some Gepard tanks, which have the 20 mils on it. I haven't really been able to use these that much, but I have realized that mobile anti-air is a lot more important than stationary anti-air, unless you're talking about a Flak 88. So this is definitely one of the units that I'll be taking from now on instead of these less mobile, flak units that you have to tow and then they just get dropped off. You can also get 2 towed Flak 36, 37 mils, which is a bit confusing, but I know why, but it's so confusing that they're named Flak 36, 37 mils. Or you can get 2 of them for 15 points more on the back of a half track, which would be more my choice. Then in phase C, you can get the Flak Veerling on back the bed or back of a 7-1 half track, and then you get 2 Flak 88s, which I guess it's the same thing with the AT guns. These get artilleried. What I do is I get a Flak, or even 2. I put smaller AA in front of it. This is way in the back. I just hope it makes a plane, panic, and then I move them like 10 meters and I do it again. Yes, it costs time, but at least that way they're kind of safe to artillery, because if I know the enemy has a Flak, I'm going to use any artillery that I have to kill that, because A, it's 140 points, and B, they only can get 2 of them, or only 1 on some decks, and as well, they don't kill planes, but they do make them panic. It takes 2 or 3 shots at the very most to make a plane, lighter planes at least, panic and go off the map, which is really frustrating if you're trying to do an airstrike, and these things just range your planes and instantly make them retreat. For the tanks, they're obviously at 15 AP, they're pretty damn good, but I think 140 point AA gun, and you only get 2 of them, it's a little bit risky to use them against tanks, as it'll be very close to the front lines. 1 Calliope strike or a good placed mortar or bombing run even will probably get to this thing, because you need to get the range on planes. You need to hit them before they get to your lines. Now, if you're not going to be able to spot them before they get to you, then you're boned. Moving on to artillery, we have my favorite thing in phase A, a mortar half track. I always like having one of these around. You just drive it around, mortar some stuff, and get the fuck out. We also get some interesting units in this deck, however. We have the R Vielfachwerfer, which means like multitude thrower. It has 64 rockets, I believe, last time. Let's see, 12 times 4 is 48. Am I saying that correct? Yep, that's correct. So this has 48 rockets, I believe. Or does it have more than that? Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4 times. Oh, that's should be 48, right? So that's 48 rockets. It looks stupid. That's a bit of a short range, but this thing can really, really damage an infantry push in phase A. It's a lot of points though, but it can really stop an infantry push or destroy a town, and it's pretty damn good at that. In phase B, we get these FK-18s. Haven't really used these myself. 2,000 meter range isn't too bad, but there's this little bit small HE for 80 points in that range, so I don't really want to use these. We also get a mortar half track with an extra machine gun, or sorry, with machine guns. So it's a little bit more extra cover. It's 10 points more. There's no range increase or anything. It's just the fact that you have more shells for the mortar, 50% more, and you get a half machine gun to defend itself with. Then we get the captured Lorraine in Phase B as well. Just one of them in Phase B. You can get two of them in Phase C. These are actually pretty damn good with 27 HE damage. They're 150 mil howitzers, so they're pretty interesting. This is my favorite, though, if I had to pick a favorite from the artillery tab. Wait, is this actually correct? Huh. I just noticed that. I was going to say, this is not a Lorraine. That is not a Lorraine, is it? No. That's something totally different. That's, I don't know, that's a bit weird. I wanted to have the YouTube guys on Steam. I should probably ask them about this, because that is definitely not the same thing. Anyway, I'll have to shoot a guy a message about this. Anyway, that being seen, we have my favorite unit, which is the Rheinwerfer. This is basically a billion grenade launchers, or I should say mortars, mixed in one thing, and it just keeps on hitting. It literally means row thrower. Rheinwerfer. This thing just, it doesn't stop firing. I've been using this a little bit against infantry, and it's really, really good. We're moving on to the Panzerhaubitze 39H, French tank capture, or French are captured again. This is actually a 105. I don't know, this should be different. Maybe the Yankee model is different, but not in the Arsenal or the deck review anyway. So this thing has a 105 and has a machine gun on it. It has 15 HE with 2,400 meter range. Pretty damn good, but I really want to know. I guess it has more range than the Lorraine, but the Lorraine does way more HE damage. It does get a machine gun for the close-up anti-infantry thing, but one machine gun isn't going to really cut it unless there's like a squad of like AT running at you. This thing is ridiculous. The Wurfrahmen 35H. These are from, but I learned about this the first time in Company Heroes, Tales of Valor, where you could get these tanks as a Panzer Elite. They're ridiculous. They're really, really good. Their guns are trash. You know, at least they have a gun to defend themselves with, but the guns are trash. But those rockets are big and they fuck people up. 1,300 meter range means you have to keep this guy's back, but it hits something, it's going to retreat. I have seen Jumbos retreat after being hit by a salvo of these. They are really, really big rockets. Then we get a command tank or a recon tank. It's a bit of a weird little French stolen tank thing here with the 170 millimeter like off-map artillery. Downside is you only get one per card in Phase C. That's a bit on the iffy side. And then we get two Lorraines in Phase C, which obviously again don't match, but I'll make sure that someone is aware of that. Now my favorite is the air tab in this, because you can get a butt ton of fighters. There's one thing I've learned so far playing this game. Air makes a big difference in this game. So you get some Stork recons. Haven't really used these ever. I mean, I can see the point of them in Phase A, but I don't think it's worth 85 points spending that on, and a whole card when you only have 3 availability. So I don't want to talk about that. Stukas, cool idea, but they're bad. They're super slow. They are easy targets for AA, and they're easy targets for planes, whether it's on the way in, on the way out. I really don't like Stukas. I don't want to talk about them either. I just think they're bad. Then we have the 109 G0s in Phase A, which means you get 2 fighters. Slow fighters compared to some of the Focke-Wulfs, for example. They do good at 20 mil, but you know, in the end, if you're in the tail of a plane, whether it's this one or one of the Focke-Wulfs or whatever, it's going to die. But this will not win, you know, in a battle running away from some faster plane. So in Phase A, it's pretty damn good. But in Phase B and later, it's going to get shed on if you're trying to chase down planes or if they're chasing after you. Then in Phase B, we can get 2 cards of 2 Focke-Wulfs, which obviously have a butt ton of 20 mils. I really love this planes, the look, design, the idea. I just wish they were a little bit faster. They also come in 2 single cards with 2 stars. I personally don't like taking the multiple star planes unless I have no choice. I think sacrificing one whole plane for the 2 stars, you know, it's a plane. It's going to get shot down very easily. The 2 stars doesn't give it more armor or anything. You know, if you're very confident or if you can bring a butt ton of them, then do it. But I wouldn't risk 2 cards for that, honestly. You can also get some Focke-Wulf bombers. It's light bombs, but hey, it's something. And they're actually, you know, pretty fast at 570, but I haven't really used these a lot. They also sacrifice 2 20 mils to carry the extra bombs. As you can see, they sacrifice 2 20 mils. They still keep their 13 mils, but it's not really anything to write home about, in my opinion. And we also get these BR-21 rockets, which I think were used mostly against enemy bombers, but apparently they're also good to be used in game against planes, against ground targets. But in IRL, they were used against bombers, as far as I know. They do have a 20 mil. They're all right for fighter duties. I mean, they're still quite fast. They actually have good agility, which is something that the actually, I guess the bomber also has good agility. I guess it's not that bad then. But you know, it's mainly to strike. I like these units for striking mortars, AT guns, infantry in the open, or light vehicles, or even a Wolverine with an open top. You can do lots of morale damage to one of those with one of those rockets. In Phase B, you also get a bigger Focke-Wulf bomber. Instead of 4 50-kilogram bombs, you can get a single 250, which obviously means, you know, you want to bomb one thing harder, or do you want to bomb one thing with multiple bombs? It's up to you. 15 HE for the 1 bomb, or 5 HE for all for each of the 4 bombs. Then in Phase B, you can get 1 Ju-88S, which comes with 14 70-kilogram bombs, so lots of small bombs, good for car bombing an area, or for just obliterating one thing. I guess less effective if you want to try and do some morale damage to tanks and stuff. Then in Phase C, you get these Stukas, either with 2 per 1 card or 1 in 1 card with a star. Again, very cool idea, but these guys get spotted and they're 160 points. Now, I am willing to lose a 120 or 40 point fighter plane to take out one of these planes, and I'll even willingly lose the fighter plane. But this means they can only get, at the very most, they can get 5. If you kill all those 5, they're, you know, attacking ground, their ground attack power is gone from the air. And that is something that's very, very bad. These guys are, I know they shouldn't buff them, you know, up to 1,000 kilometers an hour. It just means that these guys aren't really worth taking, in my opinion, unless you're, you know, you have air superiority and you're playing with, let's say, a Lufthansa deck, which has a billion airplanes, and you can focus on ground attack, but otherwise, too slow, not really worth, in my opinion. And then also, we can get more Ju-88Ss. We can get 2 of them per card with the same setup as the one in Bravo, or the speed phase, whatever, Bravo, B phase. Or you can get 2 in Phase C, a single one, however, though, sadly, but a single card of 2 for 40 more points, but it gets 1,000 kilogram bombs in total with 2 500 kilograms. So, which is actually pretty damn impressive to drop this from the sky. Doing 600 kilometers an hour, it actually has a very good chance of just dropping the bombs and getting the fuck out. It's got a single machine gun on the back. I don't even know if those things can even shoot anything down. I haven't seen it myself, but this is a pretty damn good unit to destroy an AT gun or an artillery position or an open top tank destroyer. So definitely worth it. But in Phase C, I usually don't have the luxury of basically fully waiting for 2 minutes to commit to a single plane when I'm trying to keep up with enemy like assaults, or when I need infantry or tanks. So 240 points is a lot of points, but if you are playing with a bigger game, let's say a 3v3 or 4v4, I can definitely see where you don't need to be too aggressive all the time, so you can save up for one of these beauties and then bomb a line and then push ahead on the bombs. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little deco review. I definitely like making it. I'm going to make sure I mention this to someone that obviously isn't 100% correct, and I would love to see you guys in the next one. Cheers!